Top 10 languages. Number 10 is the Basque Icelandic Pidgin language. Although actually a combination of Basque and other European languages, the Basque Icelandic Pidgin language is named because it was brought by Basque whalers to Iceland, where it was written down and transcribed into Icelandic. Knowledge about the language is limited due to the amount of manuscripts surviving. This unholy concoction of a language is presented with the 10th spot on our list. Number 9 goes to the Belgian language. Some of you may be thinking, Belgium is not a language, it is a country of mixed Flemish and Walloon ancestry. However, when talking about ancient Belgium, that fact changes. Flemish people and Walloon people had not been invented yet, meaning that the ancient Belgae people had a language, and it was most likely ancient Belgian. Unfortunately, there is very little hardcore evidence of this language, meaning it is only a theory, but it still lands at position number 9 on our list. Number 8 on our list goes to Peninsular Japonic, a Japanese language that was actually spoken on mainland Asia and not in the 20th century. The people that spoke this language were basically all the Japanese people who didn't go to Japan when the Japanese people went to Japan. Unfortunately, the languages no longer exist, having died out by the end of the first millennium. Why does Peninsular Japonic get number 8 on the list, you may ask? Well, because every other single time that the Japanese people have been in Korea, it hasn't ended well. Number 7 on the list goes to former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonian. Former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonian is also known by the name North Macedonian. Former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonian is also known by the name Macedonian. However, this name is controversial, as Macedonia is also a region in Greece, which would imply that Macedonian would be a Hellenic language, when actually it is Slavic. Due to the name Former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonian alone, it lands on number 7 on our list. Number 6 on the list goes to Brazilian. Brazilian is a Romance language with similar grammar and vocabulary to Mexican. Some of you may be thinking, don't you mean Portuguese? Are you just trying to be funny? Well, yes, I am. However, think about this. We don't call Afrikaans African Dutch anymore. So, why should we keep calling Brazilian Portuguese when we could just call it Brazilian? Brazilian includes a lot of loanwords from Italian, French, German, and even Japanese due to the amount of immigrants that came to Brazil. There are a bunch of differences in phonology and grammar that I do not understand well enough to talk about, so you can just read the Wikipedia article like I did. Number 5 on the list is Neapolitan. I was surprised to find out that ice cream had developed language processing skills, since the last ice cream I talked to did not know how to process language. To put it lightly, I was disappointed to find out that Neapolitan is actually spoken by Italians. But as I continued to do research for this video, I found out that Neapolitan actually has some pretty cool grammar and orthographical features that Italian does not have, and thus it gets number 5 on this list. Number 4 on this list goes to Esperanto. I've already made a video about Esperanto, but to put it lightly, it definitely deserves to be on this exclusive list. Esperanto has 0 flaws, 0 imperfections, and is quite honestly the best language in the world. No other language is as good as Esperanto because it has the best grammar and the best orthography and the best everything of every single language in the world, and that is a fact. The only reason Esperanto is not ranked higher on this list is because of my personal bias to the following languages. Number 3 on this list goes to Latin. Latin has a number of things going for it, including being the language of the Vatican City-State, and also for being the subject of my favorite Monty Python scene. As well, Latin has very complicated grammar, and if you've seen my How to Make an Awful Conlang series, then you know I love complicated grammar. Number 2 on this list goes to Danish. Danish is an amazing language. It's not as good as Esperanto, but it's a really good language. It has some cool orthography, a large selection of guttural sounds, and to lending its name to my favorite pastry, the Danish. The Danish is called a Danish because if you stuff an entire Danish in your mouth and try to speak, you will speak Danish. Before we get to number 1 on this list, I'd like to go over some honorable mentions. They include traditional Chinese, Karen, every single Uralic language, contemporary Sumerian, and sober Scots. And now for the grand finale of this video, the number 1 language on this list, and in the world, is American.